Hello there, and welcome to another Starfield video. So today we've got something a little different than what we usually are, which kind of has been the theme the last couple of weeks. So as the title says, we're going to be taking a look at the timeline of various Bethesda games from when they launched to where they are now in terms of like where we are with Starfield. So I've made a couple of timelines. You'll be impressed by my amazing Microsoft Paint work. But basically, it's a timeline that has its launch, and then it's got up to 8 months, 7 months shown, and then current, which is 8 months. And we're going to be comparing in those 8 months from launch to now, where we're at with Bethesda or with Starfield's kind of content updates. And then where Skyrim, original Skyrim, not any of the remastered, like not the version for the fridge or the Nintendo Switch or for the Game Boy Super, just the base version that came out. And then we're also going to be taking a look at the Fallout 4, again, when Fallout 4 first came out, not the VR or the special updated version. So yeah, so basically the whole point of this is to kind of showcase, because a lot of people are saying like, oh, like, where we are currently is like Bethesda, they're taking their sweet time. Like, what's going on? Like, I feel like we should have got content by now. And I was actually kind of surprised because when I looked at the kind of the timeline and set it up myself, I honestly thought that Starfield was kind of very far behind in terms of content. And in some regards it is, in some regards it isn't, which we'll showcase. So I'm going to pull up some, first one we're going to pull up is the Starfield timeline versus the Skyrim timeline. So as you can see here, as I've showcased, we've got launch, and then between launch and current, we've got 7 months. So technically, current would be 8 months. It's where we are. So as you can see with the Starfield, I want to point out real quick, when comparing both the Starfield to Skyrim and then the Starfield to Fallout, all games got updates or bug fixes. Starfield has gotten substantially more bug fixes than either Fallout or Skyrim. Now, that's not to say that Starfield was a buggy mess. It wasn't. It's more so that the current thing nowadays with games is to try and kind of get a bug fix or an update every month, whereas Skyrim got 5 content updates that weren't DLCs. Now, again, when we get into it properly, I'll highlight some of them. The whole point of these is to showcase not bug fixes, any update that added new content, either paid or free. Excuse me. So if we start out with Starfield, as you can see, launch came out. And then we got bug fixes every month for on the dot. But the first update that we got that added something new was the Let Them Eat, which again, it's a very small update. It wasn't. It added a load of bug fixes, but the only new thing it added was the ability to eat food items, by looking at them instead of having to pick them up and bring them up in your menu. Which, while might be minuscule, the whole point of this is to, like I said, highlight new updates that add stuff, right? And then, as you can see, from the 2 months in to current, so for the jump of 6 months, basically, we got nothing until current, which is the ship decoration update that came out recently. It came out, I think it came out in beta like last week, potentially. I think the 2nd of May. Now, when this goes live, this video goes live, it should be out on Xbox and non-beta Steam and the PC store, so make sure to get that. But yeah, so that added the ship decoration update, which added ship decoration, which is a really cool update. It also added a new map UI, as well as a new kind of fast travel system in cities, as well as adding a gameplay kind of option where you can tweak gameplay things. I've done a video kind of explaining all these different kind of updates and stuff. So if you want to check that out, just check out my recent videos. Really quick, I just want to say that so I've kind of changed how I record. just because I've gotten issues where people are saying, oh, you know, your voice is quieter in certain situations. I just want to confirm, let me know if my voice sounds okay now. When I'm looking at my levels, occasionally the microphone will go into the red, which normally tells me that I'm talking too loud. And it's happened a few times. There, it just went red there now. It's probably when I do my S's and F's. But I haven't noticed, when I listen back over the audio myself, I haven't noticed any issue. Like I said, it's very different because depending on how you listen to it. Normally when I edit these videos, I tend to listen back just through my television, because there was a point in time where I was using some Sony headphones and audio sounded awesome until I uploaded it, and then I realized I couldn't hear anything because the audio from the headphones was like amplifying. But anyway, back onto it. So yeah, so in the time period of 8 months for Starfield, we've gotten 2 kind of updates that have added new content. Obviously, the most recent one being a big one, you know? And we're still quite a ways from the first paid expansion, which is going to be out around fall. I would assume it would be, realistically, I would assume it's going to come out... Oh, there's my elbow cracked. I would assume it's going to come out around the 1-year anniversary. Would make sense. Excuse me. That might blow your eardrums out, so I do apologize. I'll try and not cough directly into the mic. But yeah, so now if we look at this Skyrim on the bottom, so 4 months in, obviously now, like it before, Skyrim got 6 title updates, they were called, that added various bug fixes and tweaks and stuff. But I'm only going to be highlighting the ones that added new content. So 4 months in, they got an update, I think it was title update 4, that added new kill cams and animations. So if you remember in Skyrim, you have the kill cams with arrows and with spells and stuff. They added new animations to that. They also added new weapon kill animations. I think one of the ones was the beheadment, which is really cool. It's nice to see, because Fallout or Skyrim doesn't really have like beheadment or beheading, whereas Fallout does, so it was just kind of nice. Sorry, to mute my mic there to cough again. And then 2 months after that, we got horse combat. Now, horse combat was a pretty big update. It added the ability to fight on horseback. Bit janky, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's something that I feel like in melee combat I'm trying to remember. It's been so long. Melee combat was pretty awkward. Although saying that, I suppose it's no awkward than any other games. I've played a few games since that have like mounted combat with horses, and it's definitely like a tricky thing to do. So that was kind of the big thing. I think archery, mounted archery combat wasn't too bad. And then on the 7th month after release, we got the Dawn Guard, which was the first paid expansion. So Dawn Guard, if you guys remember, it was the big vampire DLC. You could choose to play as either a vampire or a vampire hunter. And you had a cool quest line where you could basically pick a side, and you could either blot out the sun or, you know, make the sun more powerful. It also added improvements to the vampire system as well as the werewolf system, allowing you to have new perks and stuff, which is very, very cool. So that's kind of where we're at. So obviously, if we look at Skyrim, we say to ourselves, okay, like, we got some new free updates when we got our first paid update, but not a whole lot there in terms of stuff. Now, if we take a gander over to my next picture and we take a look at, let me just move. Oh, no, whoops, did not mean to do that. My bad. We look at the Fallout launch. Now, we see something here that's kind of interesting to me, and it just kind of made me realize how lucky we were with Fallout 4. So obviously, again, like we say, in this version, I don't actually have the ship decoration update, but that's meant to be in current. So if we look, Fallout got some bug fixes as well. And I think it got more. It definitely got a lot more than than Skyrim. Not as much as Starfield. But for the most part, those bug fixes didn't add a whole lot new. They didn't add anything new, basically. Just kind of prepared the way for content. The first big content drop we got, which was 4 months in, which was Automatron, which, if I can remember correctly, just to kind of go back and confirm, So Fallout 4. So if we go back to Skyrim real quick, just to kind of highlight, Skyrim came out on what's Skyrim's release update? Oh no, I want to say it was okay. So yeah, so Skyrim came out November 11th, 2011, just for reference. So that's over 13 years ago. For about 13 years ago, it'll be 13 years ago. And then Fallout 4 came out November 10th, 2015. So from November up until 4 months later, so that would be, let me just confirm the exact date. Because Fallout 4 got some awesome kind of updates very early on. So yeah, so Automatron came out on March, the 22nd of March for PC and for everything basically. And Automatron was the first DLC. It basically added the Ada quest line where you could customize. You basically had a little mini quest where you were fighting a Mechanist, which is a callback to the Mechanist from Fallout 3. I don't think they're the same person. No, they weren't the same person. Really cool quest line, and the whole point of the update was that they added the ability to customize and make your robots. So we have, obviously, you have your standard robots in Fallout. You have your Mr. Handy, your Protectron, your Mr. Gutsy, your Sentry Bot, and stuff like that, and the Assaultron. And it allowed you to basically take pieces from each and make your own. So you could give Codsworth legs, which is pretty hilarious. Or one of the things I like doing was basically giving robots the Sentry Bot legs, which was the wheels, and kind of making them like kind of mobile, kind of pack Brahmin almost, which was, again, really cool. One of the kind of the best ones, I think, was just Ada was a pretty powerful companion because her and Codsworth, obviously, and Curie to an extent, you could like heavily modify them and make them very, very powerful, which was really cool DLC. Hopefully something we'll see with Starfield. I feel like it would definitely fit in, considering we have quite a few different varieties of robots, even from the Vasco variant. There's, Vasco as well as Kaiser. And then we have some like Riot versions and some other versions. Then we've got dogs as well. And then a month after that, we got the Wasteland Workshop update, which was another smaller kind of update. This one didn't really have a quest to it. This just basically added it added a load of new pieces to the game that was meant to be kind of more, what would you say? It was meant to be more just a lot of different buildings. I remember one of the best ones that it came with was the concrete pieces. Okay, yeah. So I just pulled up the list now to make it. So it added concrete stuff as well as wall-mounted heads, and it added the ability to capture creatures' cages, which was a pretty cool update in that you could basically capture various creatures and you could kind of assign them to your camp, which again is something that hopefully Bethesda will kind of chime into. Because we already have the ability to capture creatures in Fallout or in Starfield, but we can't really do anything with them currently. They're just kind of there to farm in it, like killing them. Now, it'd be nice if down the line we would get the option, because currently, I think I've said it before in a couple of streams and stuff, but when it comes to the outpost system on Fallout, or on Starfield, sorry, it's very much geared towards the production of objects and items. So mining, manufacturing, and farming. And not farming in a sense, there is greenhouses and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's very much like kind of just, you plant the stuff, you get them back. And while that is very cool, for people who kind of want to use the outposts more as settlements and kind of roleplay as, making, like, say, your own personal bunker or lodge or resort, we don't really have that option. You can kind of do that. You can build them, but we're quite limited in the fact that we only really have prefabs. We have no walls, we have no kind of defenses aside from some crappy turrets. So hopefully, down the line we could get some workshop-based updates like with Fallout, which was, Anyway, on to the next one. 6 months in, literally a month after the previous update, we got Far Harbor, which was probably, in my opinion, one of the best Fallout expansions we've ever gotten. It was a proper expansion. It added a new island, really cool quest line. Basically, this island that's covered in fog, and you can uncover like what's going on with the fog. There's new factions kind of re-added in. Very heavy to do with Valentine. Nick Valentine. I was going to call him Vince Valentine. That's not his name. So that was very heavy with that, and just the fact that it was a new area was amazing, like absolutely amazing. Again, obviously, all of these updates were paid. So comparing to where we are in Starfield, it's very clear from the get-go that Fallout was intending on bringing out a lot of updates. And that's not to say Starfield isn't, but one of the kind of the key features with Fallout is that when Fallout was first up for pre-order, they had a season pass. Either you could buy it separately or you could buy it as part of the Ultimate Edition. And interestingly enough, the season pass increased in price after, I want to say, the second expansion or the second DLC came out, kind of highlighting the fact that even Bethesda wasn't really sure exactly how many they were doing. But yeah, the fact that we're like 6 months in and we've already gotten two paid DLCs and an expansion is huge. Now with Starfield, we know that we're getting one update or paid expansion in Shattered Space, and we know that that's coming. But it's just kind of interesting to show that, like, compared to Fallout, we're a little bit behind now. Fallout 4 came out at a time when gaming was kind of at the cusp of like what they were producing. Like Fallout around the time, we also had Halo Infinite or Halo 5, sorry. We also had Destiny, I believe, as well as some other big games. Now I'm missing out on, obviously, but I'm kind of just focusing on the ones I know of. And around that time, developers were pumping out as much content as possible. And it got to a point like kind of like nowadays we look back and developers have said that wasn't sustainable. And obviously it sucks that it's not sustainable because, I would love if games went back to like, hell, can you imagine if Starfield was like, yeah, every month or two we're going to bring out like a paid expansion or paid DLC, even free updates and stuff, Because I know Halo 5, they were bringing out like a big content update, a free content update around the same time, like every kind of month and a half. And it was pretty awesome. Same with Destiny. Destiny, I think, was doing their seasons, which they're still doing it to this day, but obviously they've kind of expanded on like the time between, But yeah, so that was Far Harbor. And then after Far Harbor, the next one we got was another kind of smaller workshop. That was the Contraptions workshop. And the Contraptions basically added kind of machinery that could produce things. So they got elevators, greenhouse kits, warehouse kits, fireworks, ammo racks, and more, as well as the ability to construct stuff. So for instance, I'm pretty sure that DLC allowed you to basically make like ammo fabricators, or is that the word, manufacturing plants? It's basically kind of like what we have now in Starfield. Like I remember that update, I wasn't a huge fan of that update. I love the greenhouse and the warehouse kits and like the armor racks and stuff, but like the kind of the manufacturing side of things wasn't really my kind of, with Fallout with me. I kind of prefer going out, getting the materials, scavenging and building them at base, Like I'm not a fan of kind of, having these big manufacturing plants. That's just me. I know more people probably enjoy it. Like a lot of people do enjoy the outpost builder because you can make an absolute killing. You set up on some of the planets, get a good resource going, and yeah, hits the fan, as they say. So after that, up to where we are now, so 8 months in, they got their Vault-Tec workshop. Now this is another one of the workshop DLCs, so it was a smaller one. But this one was kind of big in that it added the ability to create your own vault underground. And you could basically You could make atriums, like so much stuff. It was very, very cool. Again, it wasn't as big as Far Harbor in terms of it wasn't an expansion, but it was a lot bigger than, say, Wasteland Workshop or Contraptions. And again, I see this kind of as something that, again, they could implement into Starfield, and I would be shocked if they didn't, in lieu of making a kind of a space station kind of builder. Because we know that you can, through glitches in the game, you can modify space stations. Currently, I think they disabled that because it wasn't supposed to be available and it was, unfinished. But I could definitely see them doing something around that going in, just because, yeah, it would be awesome, and I can definitely see. Now, obviously, I don't have the 9 months in, but I will say, a month after the Vault Tech Workshop, we got Nuka World, which was the second expansion and the sixth add-on for Fallout 4. And that kind of brought them to a close. So basically, we're like 9 months after launch, and we've already gotten all of Fallout's expansions. Obviously, later on down the line, like we just got an update recently with the Creation Kit and stuff. But obviously, we're not focusing on like all of it. We're just I just wanted to highlight that it's very interesting that like you look at Starfield now, we've got 2 updates that add new stuff. A minor one in Let Them Eat, and then a kind of a major one. Like the new update, obviously, that came out recently was really, really good. But just, yeah, it's pretty interesting looking back. Like, I kind of wish I could go back in time and like realize how lucky we were as gamers. And obviously not saying that we're not lucky now, because Starfield is definitely, this is not a video not meant to kind of bash on Starfield's development. Like I was saying, Starfield has been getting substantial updates and patches to make the game more balanced, and they've done a phenomenal job of doing that, Obviously, there's still issues, but the issues will get squashed, and then new issues will appear. That's how gaming works. But yeah, so that's just the kind of the whole thing. So yeah, just like I said, different video. I guess the major takeaway from it is the fact that gaming development has changed kind of drastically over the last probably 10 years, and what's kind of expected now versus then. Like games companies would literally kind of like, it was kind of like they were like the rock stars, and that they would literally kind of work themselves to the bone. And they realized that that's not sustainable. Now, who's to say that it could be sustainable in this day and age if they were to invest in more people? I know there's a few games. I'm trying to think. Currently, off the top of my head, the only kind of company I could think of, the game that I've played in the last probably several months, was Helldivers. Helldivers is doing some cool stuff. I haven't played it recently. I know they had some fiasco with Sony. But they've been kind of bringing out new little kind of content updates, little kind of paid battle passes. I want to say like almost every like month and a half. And obviously they've been doing some cool stuff in game too. It's like a narrative story going on. Like the world's expanding, new mobs are adding, kind of similar to what 76 did. But obviously 76 was not one of those, like it took a long time for 76, which I should have probably included 76, but I think part of the reason I didn't was because 76 is a multiplayer game, and obviously the way it gets updates is different. Like 76 didn't really get a major update till Wastelanders, and that was quite a while. And obviously between then it got a lot of smaller updates, but it's a multiplayer game. You can't really compare just because it has a kind of a different 76. I don't know the ins and outs, but I would wager that when 76 first came out, it probably had like maybe 1/10 of the budget and staff that Starfield does, just because it wasn't a mainline game. It was kind of an idea, side project. And obviously over time it's gotten a lot more development because people have realized this is actually a pretty fun game, and it's, they've added some recent stuff. I keep chirping every time I can, but after the TV show, it literally got a jumped up to, I think, 1 million concurrent players, which is huge. That's awesome. But yeah, so with all that kind of being said, like I think my take from this is, like I was saying, game developers aren't like what they used to, and that could be down to various things, money, greed, stuff like that. I'm not saying that, companies to make money, obviously. They're there to make money, and that makes sense. And obviously companies don't want to, I mean, hell, look, no company wants to kind of do things for free necessarily, because you never know. But anyway, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna talk on the business side, because I don't have a clue on business side. I play games, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm interested to know what you guys think, just going off of kind of the timelines and stuff. Like, obviously, with the Skyrim stuff, we're kind of similar with Skyrim. Skyrim's timeline was a lot, it was a good kind of, I think it was Skyrim's updates like a year and a half when it was like fully done its updates, whereas obviously you can see Fallout wasn't even a year and its updates pretty much done, and then obviously Starfield. So let me know what you guys think, and are you guys kind of shocked in a way? Because I was, to be honest with you. I played the hell out of Fallout 4, but it blows my mind that we literally got update after update after update, like month on month on month, which was insane. But yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this sort of content, and check out my other videos. Bye-bye.